Before we get into our Bears mailbag, give me a follow on Twitter at HGramNFL. Just crossed 2,500 followers. Appreciate you guys. Let's keep the train rolling. Obviously, we can't answer every question on these mailbags, so ask me some over there at HGramNFL. Give me a follow, tweet at me, slide in the DMs. I'm always staying busy in these Twitter streets at HGramNFL for more Bears news updates, and I answer your questions as well. The Rainbow Cow leads off this mailbag. Bears finishing in what spot in the NFC North? Is Aaron Rodgers a Packer? If he is, then I'll say second or third. If he's not, I'll say first or second. I think if he's not in Green Bay, it's Chicago or Minnesota. If he's in Green Bay, even with dysfunction, they will still win the North, in my opinion. Pop Johnson, Roquan Smith, or Danny Trevathan, bigger impact this year? I think Roquan. Trevathan is honestly in a great spot now because Roquan has taken that step to be that kind of lead dog at that off-ball linebacker position. So Trevathan is your number 2 linebacker. That's a great role for him because he's not quite what he used to be, but he's still very solid. So Roquan, he's a Pro Bowl, second-team All-Pro caliber type of player. And then Trevathan is your number 2 backer. Yeah, those guys fly around. They stop the run. I think Roquan will be more impactful, but Trevathan should be good as well. Richie McNabb, do you think Nagy and Pace should be fired or given another chance? Well, I thought for sure Pace should have been fired after last season, but now that they've had the draft that they did, you have to give them time. I think, barring a disaster this year, they will get the 2022 season. Now, you need results that year, and if you don't get them that year, then they're both going to be gone. J-Vo, next up, #Bears. Will Darnell Mooney be a top 3 number 2 wide receiver next year? I think so. That's hard to say, man. This league is so loaded at receiver and running back right now. I think he will be a confirmed number 2 receiver this year. I think we saw, especially down the stretch last year, that he can be that guy with his speed ability. And I think pairing him with Justin Fields is going to pay off really well. We'll see. There's a lot of teams with 2 really good receivers. You think of teams like Dallas, even a team like Pittsburgh that doesn't have a true number 1, but they're very deep as well. Arizona. I mean, there's some good receiving units in the National Football League. It could happen, but not quite ready to say that. Bofo plays the super chat. Appreciate the $2. Bucks or Suns? NBA question. Let me know what your favorite NBA team is down in the comments. Probably a lot of Bulls fans here. I picked Phoenix in 6 before the series. I will stick with that. I think Chris Paul gets his first ring. Johnny Nixon, gut feeling, will the Bears make the playoffs? Kind of similar to that question we got earlier. Obviously, a lot of it depends on Green Bay. Where is Aaron Rodgers playing? Is he elsewhere? Is he sitting out? What's he doing? The Packers are the team to beat if Aaron Rodgers is there. There's just no way around it. Dysfunction or not, I think they're going to be tough to beat if he is there. Now, if he's gone, I think you're looking at Chicago and Minnesota with maybe Green Bay if Jordan Love isn't a disaster, although I'm not very high on him. I would give Chicago a slight edge over Minnesota because I like the Bears' defense still, but, even though we like to laugh at Kirk Cousins, he's at least proven, whereas we have to see Justin Fields first. We'll see. I'll say this. If Rodgers is not in the division, the Bears will make the playoffs. If he is, it's going to be a lot harder. So try and answer this question with all that information. Will the Bears make the playoffs? Very simple. Type Y for yes. Type N for no. I think they're kind of hovering a game above or below 500. If you get to 9-8, you probably sneak into the playoffs there. So let me know what you guys think. Y for yes, or you can type your N for no. Cameras were on. Is this a Spygate name? #Bears. Do you think we ended up the best with Fields this offseason, or would you have rather sold the farm for Watson or Wilson, assuming Watson is innocent, by the way? Yeah, you take the legal issues out of it. Before that, I was all in. I'm like, dude, Deshaun Watson is available at 25 years old. Obviously, the legal stuff comes into play. If that wasn't a factor, as much as I'm on the Fields train, I mean, Watson's incredible. We know what he is already. I love Russell Wilson too, but he's older. You might be able to talk me into taking the chance on Fields just because he's like 10 years younger. So, look, I think the Bears are in a great spot with Justin Fields. I think he's going to be really good. Now it comes down to his development, and that's really on Matt Nagy's shoulders. So we'll see how things play out. Jules S., what are your current thoughts on Aaron Rodgers? Is he staying in the NFC North? So I'll say this. 6 weeks ago, I would have said I think he's almost certainly gone, 20% chance he stays. Now I'm like 50-50. Why am I 50-50 now? Well, nothing's happened, right? So the clock's ticking on the Packers to make a trade, so I think it's 50-50. I think he either could sit out or the Packers will make a trade at the last second, or he's just going to suck it up and play in Green Bay and then try to get traded next year. So I think it's two smoking Jays. It's really 50-50. Mr. Boulderhead, if we don't sign a corner this season, do you think we'll take one in the draft or in free agency next year? I think wide receiver and corner are two spots to look at in the draft next year. Obviously, you don't have your first-round pick. That's going to the Giants. Worth it for the Justin Fields pick, obviously, but you don't have it. It's very possible. Now, if Jalen Johnson proves himself to be a CB1, what if Kendall Vilder emerges? Maybe he's CB2, then maybe that changes things. But, yeah, I would have felt better had the Bears added another corner. Give me a follow on Twitter, at HGrahamNFL. Guys, you can ask me your questions, Bears-related, sports-related, non-sports-related. I have a ton of interest. Big TV show guy. Producer Jack's a big movie guy, and we had a strong Breaking Bad debate. He's just not a fan, and that's okay. At HGrahamNFL, and if you like Breaking Bad, let me know, because I need to find someone who does, because Producer Jack is just not a fan. At HGrahamNFL. Gunny the GOAT. Next year in the draft, should the Bears draft Chris Olave if Allen Robinson leaves and we get a first-round pick? I don't think you can get a first-round pick for Robinson if he leaves, right? Isn't the highest comp pick a third? Yeah, so you're not going to get a third if he leaves. I guess you could tag and trade him for a first, which is something we mentioned earlier this offseason and technically could still happen, by the way. I don't think it will. I think he'll play in Chicago this year, but perhaps you could do that. Chris Olave will go round one, barring an injury or just big fall off in his game this year. Listen, I still want to keep Allen Robinson, but as time goes on, it seems a little less likely, unfortunately. Sherrod Curry, #Bears, would swap backup quarterbacks with the Jets just to get rid of Nick Foles' contract. Hey, any 31 other GMs watching? You want Nick Foles? All you got to send me back is, some M&Ms. Yeah, save $4 million. The Bears don't want anything in return for him. The problem is teams don't want to trade for him right now, so we're kind of stuck. You may have to wait and see if there's an injury during training camp or the preseason. Tim Adams, what are the chances that Jeremy Ruckert is available in the second round next year? What's the deal with Jeremy Ruckert, Tom? He'll be there in the second, I'm being told. I haven't watched a lot of tape on him yet. As we get closer, obviously we'll do some draft stuff for next year. Ohio State tight end, I'm being told. He's fine. He's not that good, apparently. Paul Dow, super chat, appreciate you. 2-part question. Well, he gave me $10, so I guess we'll do it. If you had to select 5 current Bears players to start a team, who are they? I'll gamble on Justin Fields at number 1, because you got to have a quarterback. Allen Robinson, Khalil Mack, Roquan, Jalen Johnson, Eddie Jackson's a safety. You can replace him. If I knew Tevin Jenkins was a stud, I'd probably say him, but I got to see him play. Of all time, RBs of all time, Jim Brown, Walter Payton, Gale Sayers, Barry Sanders, and then Eric Dickerson. That's a pretty good list. That's for sure 5 of the top 10. Emmitt Smith, numbers-wise, is up there, but he was in a great situation. Adrian Peterson, who's still playing, is very, very good. I think a guy like, if Jamal Charles never got hurt, I think he could have been really, really special. LaDainian Tomlinson. That's a good list, though, Paul. Hope I answer your question well enough. Xavier Jones, do you think we trade for another inside linebacker in case Trevathan gets hurt again? We got that linebacker depth chart that we can show you guys just to see where the Bears kind of sit after Roquan and Danny Trevathan. I don't think they'll make a trade. I think, if anything, they would just sign a vet, someone who's out there. Christian Jones is a player that the Bears feel comfortable with, is that number 3 guy. Joel Iggy, as they call him. His last name's very hard to pronounce. Josh Woods, maybe he would get an opportunity. Obviously, after Roquan and Trevathan, it is a little bit thin, so keep that in mind. But appreciate the question on that one. I think if an injury does occur, they would probably just sign a veteran free agent. Another super chat from Fofo. Appreciate it. If Nagy is trying to put together a KC type of offense, Robinson isn't the guy. He's a possession receiver, a very good one at that, but he's not a game breaker, and that's what the Bears are looking for. Guys, you don't think Andy Reid would take Allen Robinson? I get it. Like, yeah, their offense is built on speed, but number one receivers are number one receivers. Like, I don't think Nagy is like, well, guys, we just can't keep Allen Robinson because he's not fast enough. Like, it's just not how it works. You got enough speed after him. You've got Mooney. You've got Miller if you think he'll pan out. You drafted Daz Newsome. So you just don't let number one receivers go, which is why it's been very, very frustrating. Movie fans out there, what's your favorite sports movie ever? And just as long as it's not Bend It Like Beckham, that's Jeremy, that's executive producer Jeremy's favorite movie, Bend It Like Beckham. I almost threw up when I heard that a couple of weeks ago. As long as it's not that, then we're good to go. So let me know. What's your favorite sports movie? I can read off a couple if you guys are answering them. Remember the Titans, Safety, Little Giants. Those are all better ones. We'll come back to this, Producer Jack, here in a minute, and we'll get some shout-outs. So get your favorite sports movie in, and just don't type Bend It Like Beckham. Next up, Penny LN, do you think Robert Quinn can have a bounce-back year in 2021? I hope so. I mean, hell, you can't be worse. The guy had 2 sacks last year, and you paid him $70 million. That's just not going to work. So hopefully is my answer. Can he give me 5 sacks? Seriously, give me 5 sacks, and I'll be pretty happy. Adam White, I'm sure they value Jimmy Graham as a Renzo threat. Obviously, I don't see how you could justify keeping him. Maybe there are concerns about Kmet's ball security. That's my guess. I think those are all reasonable points. My other concern is, who do you have after your top 2 guys? J.P. Holtz, Jake Butt, Jesper Horsted. Unless you go sign someone, you just don't have good depth. So I think the Bears are saying, hey, we like Jimmy Graham and Cole Kmet as our 2 tight ends, and we can occasionally work in some other guys, and that's just what we're going to do for this year. Baldow, do you think A-Rob can put up 1,500 yards? He did it with Bortles, 1,400, so why not? If the quarterback play is good, then it's possible. Now, you got Darnell Mooney. You're going to run the football a lot, so I wouldn't predict 1,500, but I think 1,350, 1,400 is very possible. Guys, he had 1,250 last year, and the quarterback play was atrocious. So if you get average to above average quarterback play, by the way, spam sign AR, then yeah, it's very possible.